Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Yes. So in the first class, Krishnaji covered the topic of Purusharthas. Yeah. Then we saw about scriptures. So whoever has got faith in the scriptures and is humble enough to take the assistance, the scriptures provide valuable help in accomplishing the Purusharthas. Right? Then we saw about the Varna Vyavastha. What are the four Varnas? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Yeah. So we saw the four Varnas from three different standpoints. Based on the Guna, we saw Guna Brahmana, Guna Kshatriya, Guna Vaishya, Guna Shudra. Then we saw Karma Brahmana, Karma Kshatriya, Karma Vaishya, Karma Shudra. And then by birth, Jati Brahmana, Jati Kshatriya, Jati Vaishya and Jati Shudra. Right? And then we saw whether there is any gradation or not when it comes to all these four groups. Yeah. So based on the Jati, there is no gradation. Everyone is the same because we are all born as Jati, Shudra. I mean, Janmana, we are all born as Shudra. And then slowly we educate ourselves, we get more and more knowledge, we mature emotionally and then grow up the ladder. So therefore, by birth, there is no gradation, all are the same. Then we saw karma, based on the karma also there is no gradation because all professions are equally important. Yeah, you cannot say one profession is superior to another profession. Every profession has got its relevance and every profession is equally important. And then when it comes to guna, in that case there is definitely gradation. There is gradation because a guna brahmana is definitely, superior to a guna kshatriya, who is definitely superior to a guna vaishya, who is superior to a guna shudra. It is purely based on the character or the inclination or swabhava of that person. Okay. Then we covered the ashrama vyavastha. And in ashrama vyavastha also there are four categories. They are, brahmachari ashrama, grihastha ashrama, vanaprastha ashrama and sannyasa ashrama. Yeah, brahmacharya ashrama is a student stage of life, right? Then grihastha ashrama is a family person's stage of life. Vanaprastha refers to retired life and sannyasa refers to the sannyasa ashrama or totally away from or totally disconnected emotionally from everything. Okay, and in each stage of life, the type of sadhana a person performs, that sadhana also differs, right? So until one becomes a mature person, he will practice the spiritual sadhanas very mechanically. Yeah. So as we grow emotionally, there is a change in the attitude because we understand things and therefore more and more shraddha comes in our rituals while we perform the sadhana. Right? So brahmacharya ashrama is a student life and according to our shastra, the primary purpose of education It should be refinement of the individual, right? That is the purpose of education. The refinement alone can convert a wild person or a wild human being to a cultured human being or a refined human being. Do you agree? Yeah, that is what is called education. Okay, that which makes a person, a refined person, that is education. So then after the brahmacharya ashrama, he is equipped, he has the sufficient knowledge about how to conduct himself, what to do in life. So he is having a fair idea about what is the profession he is going to choose, how is he going to lead the life, and all. Based on all that, he enters the grihastha ashrama, which is the next stage of life, right? And then in this grihastha ashrama, we automatically develop tolerance, patience, sharing, and all that, because there is no other choice. Yeah? Another person is coming to your life, and most of the time he or she will be exactly opposite of what you are. And there is no choice to go and hide somewhere. We have to face it. So therefore, we develop tolerance, we develop forgiveness, we develop sharing, and then, you slowly start living, having a life together, going parallelly, and then the children, and, you take care of them, you take care of the parents, and it's a very busy stage of life, right? And Grihastha Ashrama is extremely important for myself as well as for the next generation. Do you agree? Yeah, a stable family is very important for raising emotionally mature or healthy children. Do you agree? So, Grihastha Ashrama is very important, right? And then comes Vanaprastha Ashrama, which is a training period for gradual withdrawal, right? From the very busy schedule, you slowly take a step back, right? And then comes the sannyasa ashrama. Sannyasa ashrama means what? Total renunciation or giving up of everything, right? Now, before Yamadharmaraja comes and claims, we happily, voluntarily hand it over to Yamadharmaraja with a thank you note. So, for whatever the life has given you, right? Now, whether a person physically goes through all these 4 stages or not, one should emotionally or one should mentally go through all these 4 stages, right? Now, if you see the student's life, there is no income. Somebody has to support the student till he is equipped to take care of things on his own, right? So in student's life, there is no income. For retired people or for people who are in Vanaprastha ashrama, again, there is no income. Nowadays, there are systems like pensions and all, but generally, if you see the elderly people, they are also not earning. Yeah, they live on very limited pension income, or they are retired. They don't have much income. And then the sannyasa ashrama people, they also don't earn. Yeah. So therefore, the only earning group in the society is the grihastha ashrama group. Therefore, it is a big responsibility on the grihastha ashrama people to take care of the other 3 groups of society, right? A grihastha ashrama has to support the brahmacharya ashrama. He has to take care of the children and their educational requirements. He has to take care of the parents or people who are in vanaprastha ashrama. And then he has to take care of the sannyasa ashrama people also. And therefore, you see that the grihastha ashrama people are like, the busiest people around, right? Now, all actions of an individual can be broadly classified into 3 stages, right? Our scriptures do this classification based on their spiritual influence on a person, right? So what are the three types of actions, or what are the three types of karma? They called the Uttama karma, or the Sattviga karma, or Nishkama karma, or Para Upakara karma. This is the first category, which gives maximum positive spiritual influence or spiritual growth. Okay, they are called the Uttama karma. Then comes the Madhyama karma, or Sakama karma, or Rajasa karma, or Para Udasana karma. Okay, so what happens is there is no gain, no loss when it comes to spiritual growth, right? And then comes the Adhama karma, or Nishiddha karma, or Tamasa karma, or Para Apakara karma, which will cause spiritual fall. It takes the spiritual vehicle in the reverse gear, right? So Uttama karmas are those where you contribute to the creation selflessly. Okay, where you focus on giving more and taking less. If you see the Grihastha Ashrama people's majority of their decision is based on this. Yeah? They take care of the children, they take care of the family or the elders or some others. And so based on that, they give more to the society and take very less from the society, right? And the more you give, the more you grow spiritually. This is one, unique thing that we find in spirituality. The more you give, the more you grow, right? Then Madhyama karmas are those karmas where you ignore the other people, right? You're bothered only about you and your family, whoever it is, only that group of people you're bothered. You're not bothered about anybody else, right? So then in this stage, material benefits will be more because you're very selfish and therefore you're not concerned about others. So you end up getting a lot when it comes to material benefits, but spiritual growth is not there much, right? Then comes the Adhama karma, which are like, I am benefited at the cost of somebody else, right? So what happens is it is like, somewhat like getting harmful to others. Even to that extent, I go to get some benefit for me, right? Those karmas are called Adhama karmas. Now, the spiritual vehicle goes in the reverse gear when we do such karmas which are harmful to others. Okay. Now, even when we see the yama, niyama and all that, which talks about the do's and don'ts, the first condition that they see is ahimsa, right? Ahimsa is a great value that everybody should be following. Even satyam comes after ahimsa. So at no cost you're supposed to hurt others. Ahimsa is the great value. Okay. Now, for increasing the Uttama karmas, the scriptures prescribe Pancha Maha Yajnas, right? Gratitude plus Upakara or contribution is called Yajna. So the scriptures point out 5 Maha Yajnas, which are called Deva Yajna, then Pitra Yajna, Brahma Yajna, Manushya Yajna, and Bhuta Yajna. Right? Deva Yajna is the understanding, or rather, with gratitude, you're contributing something when it comes to Bhagavan or to the Ishta Devata. Okay. So then a deep or a sincere prayer that everyone should be hale and healthy and happy. So Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Now there is a prayer which says Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam, which ends up in Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. So everybody should be healthy, everybody should be safe and happy. Ilya? That's the prayer which is the most extensive and the least expensive. You don't have to do much when it comes to the material things. It is just your attitude. You stand in front of your Ishtadevata and pray for the welfare of everyone, right? It takes only a few minutes, but then if you make it a practice to do it on a daily basis, you can see there is a great increase in your peace of mind or in your attitude towards others. Okay, so you voluntarily don't take a conscious effort not to hurt others or not to, uh, not to disturb others in their life, because you have an attitude every day. You pray to God that everybody should be, hale and healthy. Yeah. So this prayer that we do on a regular basis goes to an account called the Global Trust account, which is managed by Bhagavan. Okay, so every prayer that we do gets credited to that Global Trust account. It is just like any other transaction which we do in the bank. Okay, so and Bhagavan knows who requires what, right? The advantage of this Deva Yajna is that it is not restricted with the geography. It is a very extensive this thing, and there is no geographical limitation. Wherever whoever wants something, Bhagavan, please help them, is the prayer. Yeah. Then comes the Pitra Yajna, which is expressing our gratitude to all our forefathers. Okay, so there is another relief fund called the, just like the Prime Minister's Relief Fund and all, there is another relief fund called the Ancestors Relief Fund. So any offering that I do to the towards Pitri Yajna gets credited to that account, and there also Bhagavan is the person who is the trustee of that account. So whoever needs whatever that will be given to those people. So my contribution is what? Only depositing. Okay, it is just depositing to that account that we are doing when it comes to Pitra Yajna. Okay, so then because the Pitra Yajna or the Pitra Lokam, that is also a very vast lokam. There are many people or there are many ancestors who don't have children or who have children who are not interested in doing Pitra Yajna, or who have children who don't have time to do that, or who are not interested in doing it. Various reasons are there where people don't do the Pitri Yajna, and we can see that very commonly nowadays. Yeah? So when you get the opportunity or when you do that Pitri Yajna, you not only give it for your forefathers. When you contribute to the Pitra Yajna, it goes to that, ancestors relief fund, and whoever is requiring, whoever is deprived, you share it to all the people, which is Bhagavan's job. Your job is only depositing. Okay, with that attitude, you contribute to the Pitra Yajna. Then comes Brahma Yajna. Okay, expressing gratitude towards our Shastram and towards all the rishis and gurus who, because of whom we are getting this scriptural knowledge, right? To the whole parampara, you offer your gratitude and you contribute something. Either directly, if you are in a position to take class or teach someone, you do that, or you help someone who is doing the work of propagating this teaching and taking this teaching towards a wider crowd. Okay, so it becomes our duty actually to preserve and to propagate this teaching, because once you understand what is the benefit of it, how is it, making a difference in my life in a positive way, I would want to share it with others also, because I find it greatly useful to handle my life in a better way. Yeah. Therefore, I either propagate it or I help someone who is propagating it and try my level best to preserve this scriptural knowledge. This is about Brahma Yajna, right? So, and the greatest advantage here is the more you share, the more richer you become. Yeah, there is one selfish advantage also in this, because the more you try to share the knowledge, your understanding becomes stronger, and therefore please share. Okay, Then comes the Manushya Yajna, which is any form of social service where you do any help to any other people, right? And Manushya Yajna, we have to understand one thing, that Manushya Yajna cannot replace the other yajnas. Because a very common thing that we hear is Manava Seva is Madhava Seva, right? There is nothing wrong in this statement. Manava Seva is Madhava Seva, but it is not restricted only to Manava Seva. All the Panchamaha Yajnas are compulsory. They are not mutually exclusive. This we have to clearly understand. Okay. Then comes Bhuta Yajna, which is any form of contribution to all the other living beings in the form of plants or animals or any other, because you consider in the totality and you feel you are a part of the totality, and therefore you contribute in all possible ways to take care of the totality. Okay. Then comes, so this is about the Sattviga karma or Nishkama karma or selfless activities. You don't expect anything in return. You're doing this as a return gift for all that you have already got, right? Because every moment we are alive, we are indebted to the society, we are indebted to the creation, indebted to Bhagavan also. Therefore, for whatever we have got already, we are giving it back. That is the attitude that we should have. And for giving back, you should expect a return gift again. Okay, there the dealing closes by your contribution. Then comes the Madhyama karma, the middle level activities, or the Sakama karmas, or the selfish activities, right? All actions where I ignore the other people come under this category. Here what happens is, maybe we will get some material benefits, but spiritually there is not much growth. We are either stagnant or very little growth happens. And then comes the Adhama karmas, where all the where a person ends up doing all these prohibited actions or destructive actions, or all the corrupt actions which harm the other people, right? All the adharmic activities come under Adhama karmas, where I benefit maybe, but at the cost of somebody else, which is to be avoided, right? So Uttama karma ensures spiritual growth. Madhyama karma is like spiritual stagnation, and Adhama karma leads to spiritual fall, right? So we should take all efforts to avoid the Adhama karma. We should reduce the Madhyama karmas, and we should take conscious effort to increase our Uttama karma or selfless activities, right? Now, when a person takes conscious effort to convert all his actions into Uttama karma, he becomes a karma yogi, right? Because karma yoga is nothing but proper action with proper attitude, right? Now, any attitude is born out of right understanding. Do you agree? Any attitude is born out of right understanding. You can never develop a healthy or a lasting attitude unless you understand the principle. Do you agree? Unless you're clear with that, the understanding is not clear. Therefore, the attitude also will be shaky, right? And as I mature, I understand that whatever actions I do, it goes to the universe account, whether it is the global trust account, whether it is the ancestors relief fund, whether it is to the Manushya Yajna's account, whether it is to Bhuta Yajna's account, or whether it is Brahma Yajna account. Whatever I do, it goes to any of these accounts, because all of them are, all that we do is, categorized into these five, right? So everything that I do, every action that I do goes to that particular account. And then what happens? The universal law takes care of that action. And then it comes back to me in the form of karma bhalam, right? And who makes sure that it is done properly? It is done by Bhagavan. So Bhagavan makes sure that there is no wrong delivery. There is no wrong delivery to wrong address. Right to your account, wherever you have shifted, wherever you have gone for vacation, the courier comes to the exact address, to the exact person. Okay. So when I understand this concept, when I understand this, slowly every action of mine becomes an offering to God, because I understand that even if I am giving to X, Y, or Z, actually I am not giving to that person, I am contributing to that global account, right? It is therefore it comes with an Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, right? And all the dealings are between me and my Bhagavan or my Ishta Devata, right? These people who are there in front of me in various names and forms are just, Bhagavan in various, wearing various masks. This will be the understanding as I keep doing things with the Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, right? Therefore, what happens? The XYZ or whoever it is become less and less important or relevant to me, because I understand it is a dealing between me and my Bhagavan. Yeah. And whatever karma bhalam comes to me, it is not given by X, Y, or Z in my life. It is given by Bhagavan. So it is a straight dealing between me and my Bhagavan. Therefore, whatever result comes from my action, I take those karma bhalam as Ishvara prasada, and not as this person did this to me and that person told this to me. No, that slowly reduces when we start, thinking about all the action as karma yoga. Because karma yoga means what? Proper action with proper attitude. Ilya. So when I receive the karma bhalam also, it is not coming from somebody. It can be any relative or any friend or any colleague. It is not coming from that person. It is coming from Bhagavan, will be the understanding. Therefore, it makes a huge difference in my attitude or my response towards those actions. Do you agree? Yeah. So I understand that all the problems are because I thought this X, Y, or Z is what is dealing with me. I thought it is a dealing between me and those people. And therefore, I was under the impression that they are supposed to do this to me. I am supposed to do this to them. All those confusions happen. When I understand over a period of time that all the dealings are between me and my Bhagavan, these people will stop bothering me much. They will be there in my life, but they will stop bothering me because of what they do or how they do or why they do. Right? I understand everything as my karma bhalam. Therefore, where should I make the correction? When I do the action, I think because all my actions are going to be processed by Bhagavan. Therefore, there is a change in the way I think. There is a way in the attitude in which I do my action. There is a change in the attitude in which I start thinking, I start using my words, I do my action, everything with the understanding that it is all going to Bhagavan. Therefore, it is my offering to Bhagavan. Whatever I talk, whatever I do is my offering to Bhagavan. Therefore, I do it with Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. And whatever comes back to me, I take it as Ishvara Prasadam. So there ends the story. Now, nobody in between bothers me. This is a big advantage when you start thinking or acting based on this attitude, right? So the diagnosis that my ignorance was the problem, and then the understanding that the change has to happen in me. There is no point in trying to change people around. This comes over a period of time as I practice this karma yoga. Now, what happens is many a times we are bothered about why people are doing this, why people are talking like this, how can she do, how can he do? All these confusion, it automatically gets chopped off, right? Because there is a clarity in thinking, there is a clarity in understanding, and therefore you can be extremely selfish in this respect as to, the correction has to happen only in me. Unless, they are our children, or unless they are our students, or, unless they are our responsibility, we are no one to correct anybody around. This, if you are able to understand, it gives you a huge relief, because we feel the whole world is in our shoulder and we are supposed to correct everyone. All that is automatically, it vanishes from our things to do list, and therefore life becomes more and more simple, right? Do your duty as Ishvara Arpanam, and when it comes to Karma Bhalam, take everything as Ishvara Prasadam. So Karma Yoga basically means doing proper action with proper attitude, doing everything with the understanding that it is my offering to Bhagavan. When it comes to Karma Bhalam, having an understanding that it is coming from Bhagavan, and the purpose of that, it sometimes it may be something which hurts me, but the purpose is to refine me, or to train me, or to make me a better person. So therefore that growth keeps on, that it is a slow and steady one-to-one interaction between me and my Bhagavan, where my Bhagavan makes me understand that this is where you're going wrong. So when the connection becomes strong with Bhagavan, slowly you're able to understand the concept and then make the necessary change in yourself and progress in your life. So the ignorant me is the problem for everything. Because I don't know, I assume that this is what is the fact, and this is, and based on that I react, right? And the wise me is the solution for everything. So as you keep practicing karma yoga, this diagnosis happens, and therefore, karma yoga helps us lead a very, very fast spiritually growing life. This is the concept. It helps us grow faster. Our spiritual vehicle will be in fifth gear when we practice karma yoga, which is like, focusing more on the uttama karma or the nishkama karmas. That's about because Krishnanji told it, like, I didn't know how much to prepare on. So anybody would like to add something or any questions? One second, let me unmute everyone. One second. Yes, you can unmute and speak. Ramesh, you are on mute. Please unmute and speak.
Hari Om Mataji.
Hari Om.
So very nice to hear this morning. Like in 40 minutes, you covered like the 5 days or 1 month, summary.
Yeah.
And you did very fast.
Okay.
So, greatly appreciated. So many things and so nicely covered. So greatly appreciate. But like we really, need to understand, of course, as you mentioned, Mataji, like this, I, something try to note down. The first, like the question comes like as you mentioned about the, Panch Mahayagya, very, very important. First thing is that, basically, what is the yagya?
Yes.
What is the yagya? Like, as explained in very detail by Lord. Many people will think just only this fire and you offering, that is only the yagya.
Yes.
where Lord explained nicely that, there are so many types of yajnas. Lord explained only few. And then if you want to go in detail, go to the, Mahatmas and try to ask, and they will explain you in so much details.
Yes.
So basically, as could be Dravya Yajna, as could be Gyan Yajna. So basically, first thing is that, like, say, one need to probably, understand what is the yajna.
Yes. True.
Because generally most of the people, I believe, that will have understanding that only in this fire, and then something is offering, that is only the yajna. And they don't try to connect that if you are teaching or if you are listening some spiritual things, that is also better than Dravya Yajna.
So generally, basically this yajna means what? With gratitude, you contribute something to the creation. Yeah.
Yes.
Shravanam is also a form of yajna. Nothing wrong in it, So the thing is, we limit things to a particular thing, and then we say that, okay, we are not able to do that, therefore we don't do it at all. There is always a possibility that if we are not able to do this, do at least this. If that is not possible, do at least this. There are so many options available in our scriptures, And then the question that we ask is, other than all these options, is there an option for not doing it at all? Which is not possible, If you are there in the world, you're supposed to do some action and do something to contribute so that, there should be, you should live a purposeful life, which is useful to others also. That is why we say Paropakaram idam shariram.
Yes. Other question came that, like, say, as you mentioned about the four ashramas, four ashramas. Then basically, based on the age, how you would like to classify these four ages?
See, it depends on a person. So basically, we can divide it into four. Like, out of the 100 years, first 25
Yes.
is Brahmacharya ashrama. 25 to 50, the person maximum earns, and then after 50 to 75 is Vanaprastha, then Sannyasa, roughly speaking. But depending on the character, there are certain people who are so rajasic that even at 80 years, they don't want to retire. We see such people also. And there are people who are like, who would want to retire a little early. So what happens is some people don't want to give the chavi to the next generation. You can't do anything about such people. So they're so rajasic that they don't want to leave the stage or leave the stage for the next generation. So you can't generalize it. But if you see, it is like 25 years for one ashrama, and again, we cannot think of going to a forest for the Vanaprastha ashrama because all the forests we have already encroached and made it into big cities. Yeah, so physically going from the city to forest is not what we are actually thinking, which is not practical. But even when you are in your house, you should be able to withdraw to such an extent that only when it is required, if somebody asks you for opinion, you give your opinion. That itself is a big step, when it comes to Vanaprastha. Because we are so habituated that anyone comes and tells anything, we will tell that, can I tell my opinion? Can I tell you what to do? Shall I tell you this is what you should do? And then we voluntarily give so many advice and opinion to everyone around. And the funny thing is that everyone is ready to give so many opinion. Nobody is ready to listen to others' opinion. This is another very, interesting thing that we observe. Now, nobody wants to be advised, but everyone wants to advise others. So, especially when it comes to this Vanaprastha asrama, one big step that you can take is, stop giving advice. Give your suggestion only if asked. So that way you can reduce your talking to a great extent. And only when you shut your mouth, there is a chance or that you get time for reflecting, or you get time for something else. Otherwise, all the time it will be thinking about somebody else's life. Oh, what happened in her life? What happened in his life? So you get distracted so much. For that distraction to come down, you have to reduce the talking part. which is the focus on Vanaprastha Ashrama, when it comes to Vanaprastha Ashrama, reducing the activities basically and getting ready for the Jnanam to set in. If you don't allow the milk to get set as curd, that time factor is very important. If you don't give that time to yourself, you are the loser. Yeah. We are so much bothered about everyone around us that we forget about ourselves most of the time. And Shastra says in these cases, you can be extremely selfish because you cannot correct the others to beyond a particular point. Therefore, focus on yourself, make the correction, see the world as a reflection of yourself, because anywhere you see that there is a problem with this person, how do you know? You have that seed in inside, and therefore you're seeing a projection of it outside. So based on that image that you're seeing in the world, make the correction in yourself. This is one big step that once you start observing, you will be able to understand.
Very nice, Mataji. So thank you so much. I have so many questions or discussion, but maybe later others should also
Anytime,
ask.
anytime welcome, Rameshji. You can even send it as a chat, or we can definitely look into all that.
Because the topics are so interesting, and to keep on listening.
Yes, very, very interesting actually. How it is, framed and very nicely. Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, the age is like 100 years, but now there is no more as an average 100 year, and then you have to update it maybe based on say 80 average, then it go 20, but even no one is willing to accept that.
Yeah. Good. Thank you, Rameshji. Anybody else? Any other points? Any other observations? That's it. If nobody has any questions or anything to add, shall we wind up the session then? Yes. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. One second, let me just stop the recording.